Dr. Aruna Vijay here. Good evening. So you must be wondering, or at least found out by now, this is February 1st, and February is American Heart Health Month. And that's why I'm in red, because that's what they do here, go red. I mean, especially for women, the heart disease are very common. So to create awareness, most of the time in February, we all go red for women. So they do all kinds of things like that to promote the heart health awareness here. So this is, February is also where the Valentine's Day falls. So it's perfect to get connected. So it's a perfect time to learn about your risk of the heart diseases and the steps you need to take now to help your heart. So I'm just going to do a series of videos so that I just want to focus on topics like heart health and women, heart health and menopause, what's a heart attack, after heart attacks, men and heart health. So I'm going to do like subdivisions like that. How is brain health connected to heart health? So there's a lot of topics going to be coming on a lot this month. So please do follow. And I'm just trying to create awareness to you guys. You know why? Because the heart conditions and the conditions that are leading to it is happening at any age now. You could have seen that, like those days, heart attacks or high blood pressure is only people around 60 or 65. And I've had grandfathers and grandmothers live until the age of 85, 90, 95. And they've never taken a pill for blood pressure and they never had a heart attack in their lives. But now, on the other hand, you see people in their 40s and 50s and 60s getting heart attacks and having a bypass surgery or a stents or anything like that. So why is that? So this high rates of obesity, high blood pressure are very common among younger age group now, especially between 35 and 65. So these things are putting them at risk for the heart disease. So heart disease doesn't happen just to older adults anymore. It's happening to more and more to younger adults. And that's what my concern is about, because you have a family to grow. You are the breadwinner of the family, you may be. And you have a long way to go. And you have to retire and enjoy your life. There are so many things in life. So you don't want to get stuck at an younger age with a heart disease. So the problems we are undergoing is three distinct factors are obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, sedentary lifestyle. And I've already talked to you about metabolic syndromes. So many of the conditions and the behaviors that are putting at risk for the heart disease at younger age groups. These are the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, alcohol, obesity, diabetes, physical inactivity, and unhealthy eating patterns. So please do get aware of these things. Try to control your behaviors. And there are certain things that you could do to avoid, that was called preventable causes. There are certain things that you cannot avoid. You cannot control those things. That is when you have a genetic history of family history or gene problems with your heart health, you know, and you have already had a kind of cardiac like malformations, like some kind of valvular problems and stuff in your younger age, that leads to so many things. So that is, you cannot prevent that. But there are certain things that you can prevent, like obesity is preventable, diabetes is preventable, high blood pressure is preventable, but you have to really work hard to do that. So what are the ways that you can take control of your heart health? So you are in the driver's seat when it comes to your heart. So you need to know what you should do to be heart healthy. Do not smoke. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable deaths. If you do not smoke, do not start. If you do smoke, learn how to quit. So manage your other conditions. Like if you're obese, try to control your BMI. Watch your calorie intake. And make heart health food availabilities. Try to eat a lot of greens. Try to eat a lot of fish. Try to eat high protein diets. Eat something that is good for your heart. Change your lifestyle. If you're not active, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, try to move. So these are all the little things that you can do to take control of your heart health. So considering that heart disease is the leading cause of death, taking good care of your heart is pretty darn important, and that's why I'm trying to stress. So much of these heart health is being proactive. So it all comes down to diet and lifestyle habits. So as I said before, the same things: smoking, alcohol, not getting regular exercises, eating junk food, eating at irregular timing, like eating at 12 o'clock in the night, 3 o'clock in the night, like different lifestyles. So if you already think that, so these are all the basic things that you might have learned from everywhere, whatever I said. But I'm trying to repeat this because I'm trying to stress the importance of these things to you. Because I'm really shocked by how younger the age group is getting down and down. People having heart attacks at 40, 42, which is really heartbreaking, because look at the family after that. It's very important, your kids. So we have to do it for them, your parents. So please, this video, I'm trying to focus on really younger group of adults who are not taking care of their health seriously. So people, whoever watching these videos, try to share it with your loved ones. Try to ask them to change their habits so they can be heart healthy. So one more thing I'm going to talk to you about today, and then I'm going to talk the other things in a series of little videos, because I know you guys don't want to see 2-hour-long lectures. I know that. So a lot of people tell me, okay, I have done all these things what you're telling me, but I need to be more careful. So I cover all my bases. Like I'm trying to watch my weight, trying what I'm eating, I'm quit my smoking, quit my alcohol, try to control my obesity. I'm doing all these things. What are all the extra steps that I have to do apart from changing my diet and lifestyle? So what is my next level of protecting my heart? Especially if the cardiovascular disease runs in your family. So because cardiovascular problem has become massive, a pandemic, I would say, currently, Corona may be a pandemic, which is just a year old, but these cardiovascular diseases have become pandemic for over several years now. So there is actually, here in the United States, they have developed something called preventive cardiology. So there are cardiologists who trying to teach you about all your lifestyle, diet habits and everything like that. And apart from that, if you have a family history, and even then you want to be more precautious about your stuff because you have had a heart attack before, or some having high cholesterol or high blood pressure, even after all these changes, how do I keep fit? How do I watch for it? How do I keep up on it, tab on it? So they have developed, actually, because of this cardiovascular pandemic, I would say, they have created a separate specialty itself. So what do they mean by preventive cardiology? So what do they do is, like, you here, I mean, I'm saying, like, people in India, like here in America or in the Europe, they may be having this specialty. You can go to a cardiologist and, you know, you can do this. But in India, like, you can do it at your own pace and everywhere, wherever you have an internist, like a regular medical doctor, you can go and you can have them checked. You don't have to go only to a cardiologist. But if you really have a problem, then you should definitely see one. So first things first. So first, everyone wants to know, typically want to assess their cardiovascular risks, such as heart attacks or odds of having a heart attack. So that desire may spark from your parents having a heart attack at the age of 45. So for example, if someone is around 45, 46 years old, and they remember that their parents or their siblings or their cousins or someone near and dear to their family who may they share a gene with, they had a heart attack at an younger age, so they want to know how to assess their risk. Those are the things that I'm going to talk about today. So if someone in your immediate family had a recent heart attack, so those are all the people who are concerned, and they are going to have a special few tests that go to a cardiologist and get it done. So those are all, what are all the tests that are available for them, and to figure out what can be done. So the simple test is you have to run a whole complete comprehensive blood work panel. So that means you're going to assess your glucose metabolism. So you have to find out what's your fasting blood sugar level, what is your hemoglobin A1C, and your random sugar level. That's the glucose metabolism. Then you're going to know about your lipid panel, which talks to you about the cholesterol, all kinds of cholesterol, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. And then you're going to assess your blood pressure if you have, so your kidneys might get affected too. So you're going to assess your kidney functions too. And you want to check your red blood cells, hemoglobin status. So this is called comprehensive blood work panel. So that checks your blood counts, your glucose metabolism, your kidney function, your liver functions, and your lipid functions, your vitamin D levels, your thyroid metabolism, everything, because every thyroid is connected to all kinds of health. I have already previously talked about it. So thyroid is needed for every single cell to function its own. So there are a lot of problems that are linked with the heart health and thyroid. So, so you have to assess all these overall things first. Then you are going to personal level, like what was the risk factor to your, so you're going to correct all those things. If you have a high cholesterol, whatever the doctor says you're going to do. What do you have a blood sugar, then you're going to control your diabetes. I'm not saying all about the medicines. You could control it by diet, you could control by exercise. If it is at that point a level that could be controlled without medications. But there are at certain point of time that you cannot control without the medications. I see a lot of things that are in the social media coming up on YouTube. Oh, just drink this tea, your arthritis is cured. Do this, then this is done. If you have diabetes, if you take this, your diabetes is gone. If you take this, your thyroid is gone. See, don't get carried away by those things. They might be helpful, I'm not saying no, only in the beginning stage. But when you are at a level, certain things are not going to work out naturally. You have to substitute something to protect it. But then when you leave it at that point, but then you have to follow strictly those diets and stuff that they are talking about. I'm not against those things, but I'm saying you have to be careful of what you're doing. If your blood pressure is 130, then you can cut down your salt, go for an exercise, do this, do that, try to control your blood pressure. But if your blood pressure is 210 over like 90 or 110, you cannot control just your salt and things and do walking and things and control your blood pressure. That's not going to do it at that point in time. So you have to see which is the medications taking is going to be beneficial or risky for you. So then what do? Then specifically for the heart, you're going to run an electrocardiogram, ECG. Then you're going to see how your heart is functioning. So once the electrocardiogram is done, it tells you about your electrical activity in the heart. That is when you are at rest. So sometimes you may have to go a stress test. That means you're walking on a treadmill and you're connected to this EKG and all kinds of machines. So to see how when you're moving or doing a physical activity, is there any changes in the cardiac? Sometimes for some people, the ECG at a normal resting state may be normal. But sometimes when they do like activities at certain point of time, there is a level that the doctors will do a treadmill test to find out at what point of your time of physical activity your waves changes, and they'll figure it out at that time. So you can do that and assess, but that is not a guarantee. See, at that moment, at that point of time, your heart is functioning good for that physical activity. But that is not a guarantee. Okay, one time I did my stress mill test, I don't have to do it for several years. No, that's not the case. When you have a strong family history and a genetic proven or previous history, then you have to do this at least a year, once in a year, to find out whether it is at risk or not. But they always tell you that it is only at this point of time it is proven. You may get a heart attack in another 3 months, then you cannot blame the doctor saying that, oh, he did a stress test 3 months back, he might have done it wrong, now how can I get a heart attack now? No. So anything is, the heart running is only at that point of time. Also, there is another test called coronary calcium scan. They do it, but it is kind of a little upscale test. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it is just coming up, but there is not a great thing that you have to must. It's not a must, but it is an additional test. If you have money, you can do it. That's what I would put it. Then they might do an echocardiogram, which is really useful. It reads the function. It's an ultrasound of your heart. So it tells you how your chambers are functioning, how is the capacity, and how much amount of blood is pumped into your system. Ejection fraction we call. So that tells you how healthy your heart is, or how young your heart is. So basically these are all the things that you can do. And also one more thing I would add to the pile is carotid artery, a carotid artery scan, because by an ultrasound you cannot, I mean, even though you do an echocardiogram, the ultrasound of the heart, you're not going to see a single coronary artery or anything like that. But in order to see, this is my view, and I think it's kind of really a lot of them do that too, because when you look at an artery that is coming out of your heart, carotid artery is the main artery that comes out of your heart, from your aorta and from the heart. It supplies your brain. And then, so what happens is, because it's a nice big artery. So when you do an ultrasound, it's a simple test. When you do an ultrasound, you can even look in on the black and white whether there are some plaque, we call. That means the extra fat. You might have seen pictures of the blood vessels having some yellow stuff on the side and this, and they would show you all kinds of pictures. So you can really see that on the ultrasound, how bad your arteries are. If the carotid artery has a nice thin wall, we call an intimal thickness, we measure that, and then it is nice and smooth, there is no calcium deposits, no fatty deposits, and it's a good blood flow, there is no clots, no thrombus, I mean, like not particles growing around, like these are all things, it's a good healthy blood vessel. So we can be guaranteed, okay, the part that is coming out of the heart has a nice, I mean, it is nothing, no intimal thickness, no plaque formation, no calcium deposits, means it kind of gives a relief that, okay, my other blood vessels are also looking the same. So, because we say that if you are cooking a rice, we are not entirely looking at all the rice, we look at a few rice at the top, something like that. So that's one of the tests I would add to the pile. So these are all the things
that you have to do to keep up, because the brain health is also based on the heart health. Because this carotid artery, I'm saying, is one of the causes for when there's a plaque or something where it turns into a thrombus, you get a sudden stroke. So that also I would consider as a cardiovascular disease prevention. So the heart health, is someone that everyone should be mindful of, even if you are in your 30s or 20s. And especially if you have a personal risk, you should definitely get all these tests done, in my opinion. And also, women are more prone to heart health diseases, because the symptoms that comes in women, I'm going to talk about it separately, are a little different from men. So we try to ignore it a lot, and that's one of the reasons. And with the menopause, perimenopause, this hormonal changes during pregnancy, there's a lot that affects your heart. And so you may be thinking, oh, is this because of that? This is because, so try to avoid saying, oh, I'm fine. So that's what I'm trying to do. And especially female patients over 50, there are certain things that we have to stress upon. So what are all the fundamentals that I already told you, what you should do, what you should not do? I'm not going to go more over that anymore. So there are certain myths that that is there that people have tried to put away their heart health. So one of them say that, there's nothing that I can do to prevent heart disease because it runs in my family. See, there is a lot more things that you can control to prevent or minimize the risks. So those are all the things you have to do. So don't go by the word, oh, that runs in my family, I'm not going to take care of your health. No, you have to. So adapting the lifestyle changes and diet is a major help. Then the another myth is, I'm too young to have a heart disease or a heart attack. No, as I told you now, this is really a pandemic. The younger people, because of all the lists I gave you before, they are at a higher risk. And then they say, oh, I don't have any symptoms, I'm fine, I'm not having dizziness, I'm not tired, I'm not having palpitations, so I'm not having high blood pressure. No, blood pressure is a silent killer. Yes, it's a silent killer. You might not have any symptoms at all, and suddenly you go one day, it will be like 210 over 160. So most people don't even know that their blood pressures are high until they get it checked. So they go undetected for years, and once they hit that top notch, then only something happens and they realize that they have it. And some people don't even realize they have a high blood pressure until they have a stroke or a heart attack. So that is why it is a major important, like when you go for your yearly physical, to get all your blood work done, have a blood pressure check and everything like that. And some people say, sometimes on an ECG and stuff like that, we might see some arrhythmias, like that means irregular heartbeats. But then when you tell the patients that it is risky and you need to go on medications or something like that, they say that, oh, I don't feel any different. I don't feel my heart. I don't feel any extra beats, or I don't feel palpitations. But most patients with atrial fibrillation, they notice this thing, shortness of breath and palpitations, but some patients do not have any symptoms. So whether they have symptoms or not, their stroke risk is unchanged. So you have to get control of that. Then the other things are, a lot of people question to me about it. I don't want to go to the doctors because once they hear the lipid panel and this and that, they just put you on statins, like to control your cholesterol, which I think it's very bad. Because there are a lot of side effects. It gives you muscle aches. It is like it begins your diabetes, and that's why they're giving this. I got this and that. See, sometimes statins have a lot of side effects on some people, as I agree. But sometimes you could control it with diet and some natural things, like you can take garlic, they say. You could avoid trans fat, you take more of unsaturated fats instead of saturated fatty things and stuff like that. So you try to control as much as possible with diet the cholesterol levels. But sometimes there is a genetic thing, that there is an enzymes and other things, or your genetic makeup for some people, or that whatever they do to control the cholesterol level comes down. And especially until some people do not get their high density cholesterol, which is a good cholesterol, going up, even because especially Indian population, I've seen that their triglyceride levels and always are higher, which is bad. And also the high density lipoproteins, HDL, the good cholesterol, never goes up. Even though they do at the gym all the time and do a lot of physical activity. I think there is some kind of, there are a lot of studies going on that. So certain point when you reach, and when your cholesterol level or your low density cholesterol or your triglycerides are not at all coming down, and you have a strong family cardiovascular disease, then you have to outweigh the benefits and the risks of taking statins. So does taking it be more harmful than not taking it? It's your body, your choice. So I'm trying to cover all these little myths, and as the preventative thing, all these things I already talked about before. So I'm going to end this saying one thing, and then the next video we'll talk more about the other stuff. So sleep is very, very important, which a lot of people are not having a good 8 hours of sleep. So that is very, very important for your heart health. I'm really, really stressing it out for the younger generation, because you guys are always up on the bed, on the social media, on taking a long time, like until after midnight, not going to bed, getting up in the morning, then you go and get like some kind of food, or never eat the food, rush to the office, get a burger or a pizza, or don't exercise, your workload, your pressure, meeting. So please put at rest all your social media activities by 10 o'clock, get a good 8 hours sleep. That's going to protect your heart. Second thing is, I wanted to stress this. I'm actually going to make a separate video on that too. Is brush and floss every day. Is it something new? Why is she saying that? You guys may be thinking, right? So you may think your mouth has absolutely nothing to do with your cardiovascular health. That is completely wrong. Several studies have shown that the dental health and the cardiac health are intertwined. The bacteria in your mouth, when released into the bloodstream, can cause inflammation and can lead to hardening of the arteries, which in turn can cause heart attack and stroke. So that's definitely a good reason that you have to brush at least 2 times a day and floss and keep your mouth healthy. And also, I have heard people who have had a lot of dental work done just for some reason or the other, and they have ended up in having a cardiovascular problem because people think that like this has caused that. So changing habits, including improving or changing your lifestyle, I understand is completely difficult when you have to start from scratch, but you have to start it at some point. Why it not be today? So you have to keep trying. Just not keep trying for a month and say, hey, I'm not losing my weight, I'm not going to follow this diet anymore. No, you have to keep on working on it. It takes many years. because sometimes you did not create this at one. You know what, gaining weight is very easy, losing weight is very, very hard. You have to really work hard, and keep up and maintaining is really hard, but you are doing it for your own family, you're doing it for yourself, so you have to be consistent on it. So this is for today, and we're going to continue on this topic, and you're going to be hearing from me a lot more videos about heart health in this Heart Health Month, February. So many people know about Valentine's Day, but you have also remember this is a Heart Health Month, and try to create awareness. Whenever you people who are seeing this video, try to create awareness in your community, and that's the sole purpose of me doing this. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.